like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Hello, happy Saturday. It is just a gorgeous rainy day. Spring is about here. I can tell things are getting ready to pop out there. We're going to have greenery behind me in no time. Well, okay, little time. Not much time. It's supposed to hit 60 degrees today, and that's awesome. That's 60 degrees Fahrenheit. If it was Celsius, I'd be crying about the end of the world. So, I've got my tea. Have you got yours? This is old tea. It tastes good, but it's been sitting here a while because I forgot about it. I was so busy eating my lunch and getting ready for being here. I will at some point get up and make a fresh cup. Or I'll be doing that a lot. All right, we're going to start today with today's positive thinking. Because it is the 1st of April. Avril. It is Avril, the month of Avril. And although there are some unfortunate people out there getting pranked, I will not be doing that to you. If I say it's raining, It is actually raining. Okay, April 1st. This is happiness. Yes! How would you recognize happiness unless you knew what unhappiness felt like? It's hard to have one without the other. Okay. It's harder to have happiness if you're always comparing what you don't have with what you want to have but have not received at this point, because you keep putting yourself into that space of connecting with your unhappiness or your lack of whatever it is. And that is obviously not constructive. It's, you know what you don't want by now. I mean, you've been on this planet long enough to figure out what you don't want. And figuring out what you do want, that takes a little time, you know. But you have to have time to do that. You have to look at what you have, what you're grateful for, what you'd like more of, what you want less of. But always, your power is going to be in focusing on what you want to bring into your existence. And, of course, liking where you're at. You have to start with where you're sitting. Now, which brings me to a weird thing. What's new with this show, right? These were delivered this morning, so I thought I'd show them because it's like my first time trying this, and they're a bit pricey. Now, I have an insurance policy which allows a little bit of over-the-counter purchases, and this was one of them. Now, I have to wear compression socks. And it turns out that anybody who's on their feet a lot should wear compression socks. And you can talk to your doctor about it. But it's just good for your circulation and helps you get less tired when you're on your feet a lot. But anyway, you talk to your dermatologist about it. That's who recommended mine, or a regular doctor. And if you have heart problems, you know all about it already. Okay, so this is called Skinny's Skin Reparative Medical Grade Advanced Healing Compression Socks. The only compression socks clinically proven to firm, revitalize, and hydrate your skin. Now, one of the problems in getting old and living in a place that gets really warm, my skin is drying, and it's like a lot of expensive stuff. This is awesome. I had to get stuff even stronger than this, though, for my legs and feet. So I thought, oh, what the hell? I am kind of being gifted this, so I'll try it. Well, it turns out you can wash these 10 times, but then to revitalize the moisturizing qualities, you're supposed to invest in a spray you use on the inside of your sock. So now where I got these made no mention of a spray that goes with this, but now I will keep my eyes out, because after all, 10 weeks to eventually go by. I only wear these once and then they go in the wash, like almost everything else I ever wear. So I thought, well, isn't this cool? Now, I was a little confused by the picture because I couldn't get a close-up of it on my screen, so I was kind of like, well, I don't know where it is in here, in there, but I'll give it a shot. And I got them and I look inside and it's like, okay. It doesn't seem to be coated with anything. Very soft. Well, we will find out tomorrow. I will try them. When I take them off at night, I'll see. Hello, are you hydrated or not? So Skin Ease. That's a misleading name. Skin Ease. Look, they make your calves skinny. No, they don't. Okay, over there with the foot care stuff. This is one of the canvae that we started last week on Twitch. So if you missed it, that's because I was on Twitch. I was in the hospital. It's been a miserable month, but it's over and I'm feeling much better. Today's like new month, new me. So I don't want to get into the discussions. If you really want to know what happened, it's a long story and it wasn't my fault. So you can go to Twitch and see the recordings from last week. They'll be up for about a week and then they start to drop off. I'll be back on Twitch tomorrow. Twitch Sunday, 10:30. We always have a morning show on Sunday morning show on Twitch. But here we are back on YouTube. And now I need to catch up a little bit, at least in the art stuff. Exy! Hello! Okay, right, I gotta get used to how everybody looks on YouTube because everybody's got the different names. And it's harder to see. Are you able to change the color of your font? Or is everybody just like automatically white text, white font for your name? I do not know. Anyway, hi. Yeah, it'd be nice if we could differentiate, aside from having, bots and mods. But YouTube is still catching up in the live stuff. They're nowhere near the complexity of what you can do on Twitch, for example. But hopefully you can do different things. You change your profile picture. Well, that you can do. I'm not telling you to do that. I have to remember what I'm looking at because one of the images is very delayed and one is like, okay, current. So that's working. I don't know what I'm looking at, but okay. I'll be pure orange in a second. Oh, are you able to get behind the scenes and change the your numbers? I'm going to ask that you use, use caps again. Unfortunately, I can't see it as well as when I'm on Twitch and use the Twitch chat. YouTube chat on my phone is just what it is, and it looks like 8-point type or less. It's very tiny. So, anyway, so I do have on this prismatic purple, I have a couple of colors here and a couple of colors here. And I'm actually not certain what I want to do with this. Uh-huh. I see. An orange dot. Now you're highly visible. It's true, actually. Mr. Rich will appreciate your color. He loves orange. See, this is what's funny about us. I look terrible in orange and yellow or warm greens. I'm a winter, color-wise, complexion-wise, and I look best in colors that work with my skin tones. And the thing is, he has the same skin tones, even more so because he's got dark blue eyes. But he's super pale. But he loves these colors that are actually like some of the worst colors for the way they reflect on pale skin. And it doesn't matter what he wears. He's cute in anything, but we always look for what we can look absolutely top shelf in. He looks fabulous in black. And I don't remember him wearing white, but white is another color. I can see where he would want to avoid it because he's already feels too pale. I guess that is just a condition of living in Ireland because it's such a pale country. So that's yeah, that's harsh. Here we have too much sun. Now it's supposed to clear up later. I'm hoping it takes its ever-loving time, like clear up tomorrow instead. See, XC, yeah, a rich red, like a red, a warm red or a cold red. See, I love red, but I do not look good in a warm red. I look good in a cold red, a cool red. So it's got to be a true red if it has any yellow in it. I've got 2 scarves that are both those reds. One, which I like the scarf itself better for the fabric and the size and all that and the way it flows. I love it, but it's a warm red and it doesn't look the best on me. So I know when I wear that, my color's a little off. Yep, that's a warm red. It's a primary red. But if you had to compare it, reds are hard to compare. I'm looking at 2 books on my bookshelf right now. They're both red. One's a cold red, one's a warm red, and they look like completely different colors because it makes the warm red look orange next to it. That's the thing about colors. And then we've got the problem of the different cameras. We're all seeing the same color, just a little differently. So even though the numbers will match, it's just not going to be our perception. It's going to see difference. But when women go to match reds in their wardrobe, you go out to buy, like says you have a beautiful red sweater, red shirt, whatever, and you need to get red shoes or red belt, and then you discover how many reds there are in the world and how hard it is to get one that's like the one you're wearing. It's amazing how difficult it is. Except now, a lot of stuff is being made in China, and they do not use the same varieties of colors that we have here. They have the same colors. They don't use them in the clothing the way we use. So you have a better chance of the reds matching. Warm red with warm red, cold red with cold red. So it's really funny. As long as you're buying from all components from China or that store, the same store. You get them all from the same people using the same basic materials, basically. So it works. We're talking not what billionaires might be spending on. Of course, billionaires, I don't know how many of them like to buy their clothing online. They are probably enjoying the fact that they can luxuriate in very fine fabrics and fashion. And they would do that in person so they could try things on and be pampered. I wonder what that's like. Things are so different. Nowadays, you have to be rich to be treated like that. When I was a kid, you just had to be average. My grandparents, my mother, her friends, women used to buy their undergarments in a place that was like a very G-rated version of Victoria's Secret. You went in there and there were discreet boxes, walls of boxes, thin boxes, and they would measure you and they would pull out a slim box and then they would take out a pair of silk stockings in your size, and then you would take them and they would put them on so that you didn't mess them up, because There was only one pair in that box, your size, in that color. Of course, if it was popular, there were more to be found. But they weren't made of the super stretchy stuff that just clung to your legs, no matter what size you were, kind of thing. So women went to stores and they would buy a dress and they would go to the dressmaker. And the dressmaker would do all the tucks and the fitting and the hemming and make it fit your body the way it should. So poor people would buy things right off the rack, as we see in today's day and age. You go to a Walmart and there's tons of clothes. There was no Walmart when I was growing up. You went to special clothing stores that only had clothes and not also groceries and lawn equipment. So you got pampered when you went into these stores. They helped fit you for underwear and make sure you had enough for a week, because sometimes that's where you also learned self-care in terms of hygiene. How many times you wear underwear? Once. And then you washed it out and hung it up to dry. So everybody was taught, how to dress under. And then you had other stores where they taught you how to dress over. And men's clothing stores were just men's clothing stores. That's all they had in a man's clothing store was stuff for men. A man can go in there and get shoes to hats, but sometimes not hats, because that's also a specialty shop. And it's a shame, really, that we are at a point where people have no idea how to dress. And we've got some people, obviously, and people who take pride in how they dress, and then others who don't give a rat's ass how they dress and just throw things together, and they don't even bother to care if they match in color or shape, or whether they're flattering, or they just look like you just rolled out of bed. A lot of people are more like that. And I guess a part of that, the dressing up part, people needed some excuse, aside from going to the park on Sunday. They went to church and temple, of course, different days. But you had to, in the old days, you had to get dressed up to go to church. You had church clothes. You always looked your best. You wore your best every Sunday to church. And looking good in church was a priority, because that was the only time you had a chance to show off whatever your new thing was to your friends and enemies in the same church. Greetings, Charlie. Happy weekend. I hope you are finding reasons to enjoy it. How did your other test do? Oh, no, you nailed the presentation. That's right. That was the second one. Never mind. Yeah, you're a performer. Time for stand-up. You could do a comedy routine just about getting the perfect fountain pen, and then finding out how imperfect it is to use them, how it becomes an art, and then just sheer stubbornness. No, you're miserable. No, that sucks. Why are you miserable? It's a choice, What are you tying into that is so misery-oriented instead of happy-oriented? Oh, I love how the two of you are color dots. It makes you so much more visible. I appreciate it. What color should I throw on here now? The red kind of got overwhelmed. I used two reds. I used an alizarin and a cad, so I'd get a hot and cold. a safe place to feel like I'm doing something. Okay. So you have nothing to do. So you haven't been able to come up with anything to do today. Is that the problem? Other than playing chess, which is a good mind exercise. It's not learning anything new unless you've got a good opponent, though. It sounds like you're buying time to build your brain. I feel like when you're playing chess, it's kind of like the neurons are working, building a matrix to get filled in inside your skull. So I think it's important that you play chess right now and not worry about doing anything else. But you shouldn't be miserable while you're doing it. That doesn't teach your brain anything good. That just teaches your brain to be miserable. You're actually enjoying chess, then just say, okay, I'm going to just sit here and do chess. That's all you have to do. There's nothing else you have to do. No. You're trying to look at yourself the way other people might look at you, and that's a false impression of you. Fuck what other people are thinking while you're playing chess. It's nobody's business. It's not wasting time. You're building your brain. You're building a matrix to build your brain into. Like building a grid. So how is that possibly wasting time? You have to have that time. The brain needs that time. So, go easy on yourself. But you're not judging you. You're judging you through you think other people are looking at you like your mother or father. Oh, he's just wasting time. Or a teacher who thinks you should be studying something. Oh, he's just wasting time. No. If your inner being is saying play chess, that is what you should be doing at this time. That is not wasting time. It's using it properly. And you are, as a teenager in school, you do have one job. You want to create something, but I don't have anything to create. Then you can't create anything until you can even imagine it. Did you imagine something to create? Something, I mean, you have to start somewhere, and it sounds like right now you're creating your brain. You have that creative urge, and it's great that you recognize it, and you can run with it. When you figure out what it is you have this impulse, which direction makes you feel good. I mean, if you get an impulse to create like this, then you have a challenge. You need to procure some items that you can get physically, artistically creative with. But if you don't have an idea to start with, and I will tell you what I started with, but it's probably not going to be something that appeals to you because you're not me. But I started creating with eggshells because at 4 years old, that's what my grandfather handed me, and it was the first thing that was strange enough to intrigue me. creativity. So when we want to create something, whether it is a poem, an essay, just run amok in our minds, run amok on some paper, just start writing, you know. You never know what's going to come out of you, but you know you've got this creative urge, which means you are starting to recognize you are in fact a creator. And you are going to be the creator, and you are the creator of your reality, like it or not. It's a big responsibility if you're not happy, because it's your responsibility to get happy. If you're not happy, then your creations are going to pretty much suck. It's going to just attract more unhappy vibes, which never pays off in a good way. Some people, though, who need to be punished or need to suffer, then for them that's good. But that's not what you really want. It's just you don't have enough tools. You don't have enough stuff to experiment with. I definitely have it over you with that. And I did from the start, because I had very different parents than you have. My father was all about encouraging his 4 daughters to be as creative as possible and also scientific, and he encouraged us with giving us things, you know, as soon as he was able to, giving us gifts that were all about creative things: clay, paints, charcoals, pencils, crayons, books and books and books of paper to draw on and write on. And if I wanted a fountain pen, I got it. So very different upbringing, and I don't discount that. I owe a lot of my insane creativity to those early beginnings when I was indulged with everything. Toy pianos. I went through 2 or 3 of them before I finally was refused a toy piano. They felt I was too old for a toy piano, and so I switched over to, I want a real piano. I howled about that for about 3 or 4 years before I finally got one. And I know you can't do that right now. You're going to have to make your own way, in ways different from me. But just because my father lit the fire in the creative arts, it didn't mean that the stuff I needed to create was there. Once I was a teenager, I was on my own, and I started learning how to make stuff out of nothing. I just found it in the woods, literally going for a walk, picking up rocks. How do you think I got inspired to paint rocks? It's like, okay, cheap paint, like the hobby paint in America. Well, it went down to 50 cents a bottle because there were so many competitors, and everybody was basically making the same thing. They had to come up with new names for the different colors, but they were all the same things. And at 50 cents per color, suddenly even poor people could invest 20 bucks in themselves and end up with a bunch of paints and some brushes and some cheap canvas. So we have great luck right now with that. You can go to a dollar store, and even though the stuff is gonna not be a good example of what you can do, because the truth is crappy materials make crappy art in the end. You will learn all the frustrating points. So when you do get higher end stuff, you will appreciate it, and you'll go, oh, now I know why they pay a whole dollar for that versus 50 cents for that versus $1 for a whole set. You'll learn to appreciate stuff. But until you give yourself the freedom to just go ahead and suck at something when you first start, you're just going to stunt yourself. So you want to create something, you have poetry in you, you've got ideas in you that you want to express. So run with one of the ideas and just write about it. Yeah, you're writing an essay in a sense. You're writing an opinion that might go into a paper, an opinion piece. I studied this and I feel like this. Can anybody answer these questions I have now? I mean, there's so many different ways for a bright person like you to stretch themselves. But you are hindered literally by your own brain right now because it's so young. It's great in certain ways. It means you're going to learn faster than you will when you're older. But also it's harder to pay attention at your age. And also you're literally still forming your brain. You got another decade ahead of you of changes, learning how to work inside your human mind. So to that I can say, good luck, have fun, and let your feelings be your guide, and whether you're going in the right direction for you or the wrong direction for you. If you're guided by your feelings, you can't screw up. Your feelings always tell you if you're in the position of receiving what you desire or blocking it from getting near you. When you feel shitty, you're blocking. When you feel open and wonderful, you are in receiving mode. So you have to practice being in receiving mode when life around you is sucking. It's practice. We have to practice it. And every time your brain keeps wanting to go back to declare how things suck and how miserable you are, you've got to remember that's the feeling you don't want more of, because it's miserable. So if you're focusing on what's miserable, that's what you're inviting into your world. There's just no two ways about it. And you've got to figure that one out. I use music a lot. Music helps me get back into a good vibe. Let's see if this did not just dry out. So let's what wise words. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime. That's from Longfellow's A Psalm of Life. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime. Now look up Longfellow. Read some poetry. And then take out your leaky fountain pen and go at it. Let your brain just leak like ink all over your paper. And see what you're done after like a 10-minute rampage of writing, letting it just all flow, stream of consciousness style. Free the brain, free the brain. Okay. And though it is April 1st, I'm not joking. I fool around, but I'm not joking. All right. Do I want to hold on to that and that? Where's the reds? Agnes, hello. I know you want to make it leaky. Your brain, you want it to leak a little. You want it to leak out onto paper in the form of words and thoughts and ideas. Because right now you got mental constipation. I know it cures it, but you're not going to do it. So why bother telling you? Okay, we got naphtha red. We got, that's a nice red. The cadmium. Ooh, nice. We got a cold and a warm, but they're too close together. We need a different extreme. Cad red deep. Cad red medium. Come here. Put that next to that. That's, okay. Oh, you gotta go for a walk. You gotta go outside, inhale some air, unless it's pouring rain. You need air. Go out and breathe. Stomp around for a couple of minutes. Get the blood moving so the brain's got something to clean itself with. Of course, it doesn't use blood, but you need to get those spinal fluids, the cerebrospinal fluid moving. And that's not happening when you're just sitting on your butt. And I'm sorry it stopped up. It sounds like you need to go to a jewelry store, have them clean it for you. They put in an ultrasound cleaner. It vibrates all this stuff out. Good. Did you go on one today? Past doesn't count. Right now, if you're feeling mentally constipated, you've got to make it flow. I assume by the age of 17 and having a dog, you have gone on some walks. I would hope. Oh, cool. Very good. So they're expecting you, darling. This is good. Okay, we want the... Whoopsie. Wow. Mama is taking it. I'm impressed. Okay, where did it go? I need my smeary thing. It's called a spatula. Huh, I don't know why either. Maybe she'll learn something. It's like a big smile in space. But then that's a scary face. Okay. Come back. I need them again. So, Agnes, how are you and Brian? Oopsie, got carried away with that one, I guess, because it's full. I'm not used to this being full anymore. How are you, my friend out west? We have a perfectly Wednesday day here. I'm digging it. I see these windows. Tomorrow, they're going to be blasting in here. And I'll be sitting here going, I can't see the canvas. I can't see. What color am I working with? Oh my God, no. All right, not quite like that. I can read the labels on the colors, even if I can't see them. Oh, like that. And what else do I like? I didn't like that. That was a green that changed on me. Oh, that's right. I went with that. Too yellow. Maybe. All right. So far, so good. One day at a time. Sometimes 1 minute at a time. Fresh tea is nice. Okay. Have you resonated yet, darling? All right. Excellent sign. You get through the first week and no lights go on that shouldn't be going on. Good. Yes. Now, I see what's wrong with this picture. I have to use a little more because I didn't carry it through before. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, ay, ay. There you go. Okay, a little more. Oh my goodness, have fun. Just like the wild wind does. Sing the song, sound like she's singing. Ooh, baby, ooh, so. I don't think I can go further than that, Maui, because I think I might get a copyright strike. I don't want to get in trouble, you know, with Stevie or YouTube. Aloha. Beware. I'll be away from my keyboard for a few minutes. Okay. See you when you get back, darling. I have been blessed yet again. I have a wonderful friend whom I've mentioned before. I've known her many years now. I have watched two children grow up. One of them get married, one of them getting ready to get married, one of them deciding not to get married. Anyway, old friends now. And I told her it's my pleasure to do cards for her when she wants cards done. And I would never, ever charge her because you just don't, you know. So when she was over the other day, and y'all were waiting for me to come back, and I'm sorry I kind of blew you off a bit because she was here, and we ended up spending the whole afternoon together, and I did a lot of cards for her, and I enjoyed doing it, you know, because she's my friend. Well, she knows I won't take money from her, so, yep, she's picking up a printer for me tomorrow because mine died. So before she comes over to say hi, she's stopping by Staples. I am very blessed. She just feels it's a reasonable payment for what I did for her. So I'm not going to argue with her, because you don't argue with people who want to gift you with something. You have to learn how to say, thank you. I needed that. Yep. And it comes just from being yourself with people. When you give from your heart, it returns to you. But when you give from your heart, it's because you're giving from your heart, not because of what you think you're going to get in return. Different energy there. That's usury, and it has to be sincere giving. You did it on Valentine's Day, Maui, when you sincerely gave away a dozen roses to a dozen people and made their days. That is giving. And then if somebody reciprocates, that's because they're moved to do that, in the same way you were moved to do the first act. So basically, you want more blessings, then go with the inspiration to be there for others. Okay, this is not going that way I wanted. Okay. That's better. Okay, now before I screw things up by overworking that, let's get the smiley face out of the way before it gets covered with paint. Wow, Charlie. Oh, a 3-minute blitz. Well, that sounds like you're really training those synapses. Cool. Backed up love needed to get it out. There, Doc, exactly. You do what's in your heart. If you wake up every day and you ask, how can I serve? The universe already knows everything you desire. You've got to get out of your own way by giving something. Don't guess and don't force. Just if you ask the question, how can I serve? Things will show up in your environment, and then you can make that choice at that point to give this or that or not. Go in a different direction. How can I serve in a different way? And what does that mean? 58%, you're about just a little over the middle in terms of your skills. You do have a ways to go, which is good. Gives you something to strive for. But that's better than me, Charlie. I'm not playing at all, so I'm at the 0 percentile. I actually did play a game sometime in the last couple of years. And it reminded me that I'm no longer interested in playing chess. I liked it when I was a kid. I don't know why. My sister and I used to play all the time. She was pretty good. She was definitely a good adversary. Means you're better than 58% of people. There you go. And not as good as how many? Okay. I need for that to dry up a little bit before I can do some more break-in paint. I only like chess if I win. Right? Well, I like winning everything I play. I just don't get petty about it when I don't. I am a good loser. Better winner, but I'm a good loser. I can respect other people's abilities, too. Of course, I'm not likely to continue playing something if I'm constantly getting my ass whipped. I'm not a masochist. Either I'll get better or I will just give it up. In the case of chess and checkers around the same time, I guess my life just changed and I didn't have time to think about those games anymore, and I wasn't living with my sisters anymore, so I didn't have anybody to play. Because we did not have computers to play back then. Now if I get terribly bored, I can always play Scrabble against a computer, but I find that boring. So I have to play real people. So Doc, have you managed to come down a number? Are you 9 yet? Or are you still in 10th place? Are you breaking that mental fix? Okay, I'm going to catch up here. Hold on a second. I feel like I missed something. A couple of lights come on Thursday. It's nothing. Oh, catalytic converter, yeah. Oh, yeah, it doesn't like that shit. It's all kinds of crap. You go a week without a light coming on, you're all right. I keep getting blown away by seeing number 10. Yeah, that's your problem. You're stuck at 10. You have to aim for better to prove that you can do that. You're fascinated by that. There's no magic to it. That's where you are right now, and that's where you're used to seeing yourself. So challenge yourself to end up in the 9th place instead of 10th. This is a nice round number, you know, and it's immediately visible. But you'll notice when you start getting 9, you'll see that, or 8, sign of infinity. So you need to, now you need to make a new belief there that your real number should be and will be. Name the number. There's no reason why you can't actually get higher up. You're not forever 10th place in that game. So why wouldn't you improve? You got to be less impressed with the 10 and more impressed with moving on and moving up instead of fixed in that 10th spot. But I totally understand it. I'm dealing with the same challenge with my birthday and sickness. I have to make sure I do not attract another round of losing my birthday to the hospital or doctors or some bad news, right? I've got this fixation in my brain about it. Sometimes you make it to number 1, all right? But what's the number you keep ending up at? Try to go higher. Hold on a second, I have to answer. It is going good. If I can say that. Good. It's a good day. I'm on YouTube. Okay. Now, let's get back. Well, I am glad that you... Well, come on. Open up the window. I hate this phone. Back to the live chat so I can see what you're saying. Yes, okay. Yes, I know. Chat rules. It's April 1st. What part of what you said is a joke? I don't do April Fool's tricks or jokes, but I have been fooled on my own show before. Oh, I don't. I prefer people don't prank other people, but it's such good YouTube fodder. Everybody likes to make fun of other people. Sad statement about humans, really. When this has finished setting up, I can add to it. Okay. once again, we are committing, we don't know to what, other than bold color. I really just love messing with color. Today I got to watch one of my favorite artists, Sarah Burns, who has a Twitch channel, but I think she's on YouTube now as well. She's an artist. Her specialty is gouache and watercolors, and I just watched her do all of these swatches and setting up her own palette. And yeah, she's just great. She mostly does landscapes. And she really knows her materials. I love when she does comparisons of the different materials because that saves me some time and money. One of one of the gouaches that I got turned out to be an excellent bargain. I really enjoyed working with it. And it's Arteza. And it turns out they make an acrylic set that I'm kind of interested in trying. It's not that bad price-wise. And there's another one, and now that one is an acrylic set, but it's 4-ounce tubes like this, this is $8 a tube on Amazon. It should be less than that at Michael's, so I'm not buying it. But they do have some of the small tube sets that are astonishingly cheap. But the brand is not that bad. It seems like they're being well rated, so I might go ahead and give one of them a try. I think it's only like $23 for, I think, 50 little tubes. It's an off-brand, but it looks like it's been getting good ratings. So we'll see. Now I have got to dig this out. Hold on. Jammed up here size-wise. There we go. Okay. Now, one of the things I love about this, how can I find cheap frames for canvas? Yes, I was just about to talk about that, actually. The downsides of framing and not framing. If you get canvas that is stretched, if it's already on a wooden frame, then you can paint the sides of it and skip the frame. Especially if you invest in the gallery frames, the gallery, it's not a frame, but it's like having the frame built in. It's like this wide, an inch wide or 3/4 of an inch wide on the sides. Yeah, my canvas is over there. If you use canvas panel, you have no choice. You have to get a frame for it. So, I know being on the island, it's going to be more expensive and more difficult for you because I can go to Walmart, and Walmart is always having sales on cheap frames that you just pop these into. You take the back off it, you take out their piece of cardboard, and it's just a piece of glass, and then you pop that in, pop the back on, and you're ready to frame. I mean, you're framed. It's ready to hang. So the cheapest you're going to find, honestly, is Walmart. Any of those big stores. Now, Michael's, of course, they're really a frame shop. So their frames are actually rather on the high end. They have some nice frames that you can just buy in your sizes, but even though they're reasonable, I think, overall, because they're wood frames, they've been painted, they've been carved, they've been tooled. That takes time and money, so I can appreciate that. And if you want a different looking frame, it's worth paying an extra $5 over a simple one you can get at Walmart. But honestly, right now, I'm ordering a frame for my sister's large print because I can't carry it back from Walmart, and I can get it shipped to me, and it's already like pretty close to the Walmart price. So it's a 22 by 28 or 26 by 22. I forget what it is now. Anyway, I measured it, and it's what I have to do. And that will be shipped. Yeah, Walmart. Walmart is the place to check for frames. I mean, if you've got a big enough Walmart, pretty much every Walmart I have been in does have some frames. And depending on how big the Walmart will depend on how big their frame area is. So there's a super Walmart I go to once a month. They have, they don't have a huge selection, but they've got like both sides of a small aisle, a short aisle. Both sides of it have different kinds of frames. So yeah, check Walmart. You can even check Walmart online because, well, depending on where, I guess it's just different for the islands, so I can't speak to that. But here, if I want something from Walmart and our local Walmart does not have it, they ship it to me. Like the socks that I showed earlier, I could not get them locally apparently, so they sent an apology and shipped from a different store. I do not remember, I haven't been to a Target in years and years, and I don't remember shopping for frames at Target. Well, here is another little sneaky way around things. A lot of people give away prints in nice frames and glass and all that. They give them away to like Goodwill stores, and you can go and get actually, I have seen some awesome frames that forget what was in it, but the frames were like, oh my God, they want $5 for this big hand cut, holy mackerel, yeah, I'll buy it. So you can go to Goodwill stores, Salvation Army, anything like that, and look for frames that still have pictures in them, and you just pop out the picture and put in your artwork. So make sure you have the sizes you're really looking for before you leave. Just keep a list of those, and you can start checking them off as you go to those kinds of stores. You'll be amazed. And also, if you find a nice frame, but it's just got a couple little nicks in it, or it needs a new paint job, fix it up yourself. You can save so much money getting something that's already done for you. I mean, a lot of money. Because they're not selling those things for the frames when they go to Goodwill. They're donating them, so they're just looking to sell them. Especially if the painting is damaged or dirty or faded, you know, old prints, things that are out of style now. You know, like California, and I guess lots of other places, but I just happen to be living in California when the pink and gray rage hit. We went from decorating offices and all of these warm colors, suddenly everything switched to cool and rosy. So then everybody started doing that. It seemed like every office I went into had been redecorated with pinks and grays and black and white. And it's like, wow, everything's so cool here. And yet relaxing. And lots of green plants, big deal. Lots of green plants. So anyway, I hate the feeling of that. So anyway, yes, you know the whole thing about not wasting things. There's just so many beautiful things that people just toss out on the gutter, and it is depressing to see. Okay, so what color do I want? I feel like doing more abstract stuff. It's a very gray day. Do I want a rainy day? Now we should gray the whole thing up. Let's see what we've got. They gave us this gray. Ooh, that's just a neutral gray, number 5. Yeah, that's right in the middle of all the grays. Matter of fact, they discontinued some grays, I believe. Oh, we've got silver too. This white's about dead. Oh, this is heavy. The ivory black. We used up most of the, all of the Mars black. Okay, so let's go with that. And what about another, what am I feeling here? Yeah, I like that for the moment. So let's see what we've got. When I was never in charge of our frame shop. I was the fine art department. But between the fine art department and the graphics department and the stationery department was our framing room. Now, we just took orders and then sent it down to our Long Beach stop. What am I reading? I don't know what you're reading. Oh yeah, you'll need frames for sure. Yeah, you got to get you to, I would start with the Goodwill store. Anything you've got, the used stuff, the pawn shops, everywhere where they're getting rid of household junk kind of things. You can score some amazing frames. I had to change the name to director assistant because people would call a line and ask non-telephone. Yes, we did have that. That's true. Yes, well, that would be Americans, wouldn't it? Now, in answer to that, AT&T owns psychic lines, numerology lines, astrology lines, tarot lines, all that. So now you can get your answers. Now, what I start to say, in the frame shop, one of the coolest things I saw one artist do, and then more and more artists were doing it, when they would do a drawing, right, they would put it in a mat. You know what the mats are that go between the picture and the frame, or the glass, right? A mat. They would have creative cuts. They would have double cuts. They also did continuing the drawing onto the mat. So if they had a sketch with trees and stuff like that, they would take parts of the trees and move that, just draw them out onto the mat boards. And it just gave a whole new depth to the work. So creative framing is definitely an art. Not one I'm good at. I do not do framing, but I learned to appreciate what other people were coming up with. It was pretty amazing. I had to appreciate all of them. Yeah, this is going to make the board warp because this is cheap. I've got a couple of loudmouth people on this floor. Luckily, most of them are not. Okay, let's see what we can bring in here. And as usual, I am wearing the paint. Okay. Oopsie. Now, I definitely need to keep this very moist because we are going to do some messing around. Now, silver is just gray. It's just a very pale gray with a lot of mica, so it does a lot of reflecting. Reduce the amount of paint I'm wearing. Let's try and keep it on the canvas. All right. Yeah, of course I'm wearing it. Put my way, which probably, yes. Or canvases. I need more of that, and more of that, and more of that, and more of that. Mostly water. Let's get a little more silver in here just because it's distracting. And also, who needs silver? I don't really use this in, well, anything important. Just little bits of it. It's just too reflective. But when you're messing around like this, oops, I got a little sloppy there. Ooh, nice blue. Silver blue. For some reason a little greenish. Ooh, bubbles. Not usually what you want to see. Now, see that is mica right there. It became of enough of a disturbance to clear a circle. So let's throw a little more on there. Rainy days. I love rainy days. Well, that's resembling more of a snowy now. That's not good. Oops. I picked up a little bit of the darker blue right there. Oh, that's kind of cool. One must be careful. Okay, now, are we wet enough? I don't think so. Come on. Whoops. And I know I have not been watching anything, actually. I have been reading. Okay, now we're talking. Oh yeah. Yay! That's what I wanted. Okay. I have to let this dry. Except where we forgot. need a liner. Very, very long liner. Ah, there it is. A long liner. What does that mean? Is that little people holding hands? Okay. You, come on down. All right, let's bring it on down. Okay, time for this to dry. Let me go change the water, clean the palette. I'll be back shortly. So, what are you saying? Yeah, actually, my stepsister was an operator, and she actually helped somebody not get killed by a rattlesnake that they found in the bottom of their potted plant that they imported from Florida. She actually got written up for her good deed as a telephone operator. That was back in the 60s. All right. Perfect painting for a rainy day, I think. Put me in the mood. Yeah, most of them were women. Because being an operator was considered okay for women. My father's company had their own switchboard and my Aunt Helen ran it. That's where I learned about the plugs. Okay. Six huge rotary things around them. That's funny. Yes, it was a rotary telephone system. We dialed. I still remember the days when you didn't have your own line. You had party lines, meaning you shared a line with everybody in the neighborhood who had a phone. When you picked up the phone, people might be talking on it, and you were supposed to hang up, not sit there and listen. And if you were really rude and impatient, you'd say, "Can you please clear the line? I need to make a call." Cool. Rotary files. Well, now you know something that I did not know back then when I was using them. It was a big deal to have a button. You could push button for another line because my father had several lines for the business. So at home you could push a button. It was like, instead of having to be there and do the switchboard thing, yeah, you could listen. Party lines were not private lines. Now you did not find these in cities, okay? At least I don't think you did. By the time I had a phone, personally, my first phone, which was a princess phone, to share with my sisters, of course, the other princesses, it was a dial-up, but it also lit up. Oh, you mean the look it up? Yeah. Rolodex. Yep. Yeah, so if you had a party line, like when we were in Woodstock, New York, we had a party line. Nobody had a private line up there in the mountains. You had a line that you were hooked to, and then you pick up the phone, and if nobody was on it, you could dial the operator and tell her the number you wanted to reach, and then she would dial it for you. But if you picked it up and other people were talking, then yeah, probably. I mean, it was for a business. It wasn't like the Rolodex that they made for offices, which were pretty big on their own. New York. I can only refer to New York operators because it was a Mount Vernon operator that my stepsister had as a job. But it was all AT&T because it was the only game in town. Yeah, that silver just sits there. That's the problem with mica. But that's okay. We got the gray in. We got a little silver. Might be able to buff some of that out. I know you can if it's watercolor. No, not out in rural lands. No, that was a party line. You had the dial up thing, but you dialed operator to dial for you. No, it was just that's all they had. You know, phones were still a new thing and they were expensive, and nobody wanted to pay a monthly bill if they didn't have to. So it was a shared line, is what it came down to. So when you picked up, everyone had the same emptiness. Click, 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 or to get a dial tone, and then you could dial the operator. I guess sometimes I don't remember us ever dialing direct when we were in Woodstock. Not that year, but maybe the year after. It's hard to remember now because as a kid we didn't really have anybody to call. When we went away for the summer or went away for, during the summer, the only place you were leaving behind was your mother. That was it. Why would I call my mother when I was out having a good time? I mean, when I was a kid, I was with my father. I didn't need to check in. But I do remember picking up the phone and hearing people talking and going, "Who is this?" No, you had to back then. When you had a party line, you needed to have everybody off the line if you were going to make a call, which you couldn't always get. You'd pick it up and other people were talking. So the operator dialed it for you when you were on a rural party line. When I was back in Mount Vernon or Yonkers, I could just dial it myself, and that was not a hard thing to do. But I didn't have a party line when I was in the city. I had a private line. I could still dial O if I needed help, but no. Because I didn't know who was on the line, I never came across a party line. When I picked up the phone, there were voices. That was my first time experiencing a party line. So I wanted to know who was it on the phone. Because there was nobody that I could see in the house on the phone. So I said, "Who is this? Who is this?" "Oh, it's Adrian. I'm trying to make a phone call." "Well, we're talking." "Oh, okay." That's what you did when you did not know who was on the line. "Hang up, little girl. We're talking." But when I was 7 years old, I had my own phone and my own phone number. Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore. We all have our own numbers. Yeah, if that was to happen now, it would definitely be a prank or a virus. That would be bizarre. Pick it up and there's someone already talking on my line. What the hell? Okay, I will go put this where it can dry. Ta-da! Rainy day. Yes, it's just the background. And where are we going to put this one? Here. And how are we doing? Not quite. Almost, but not quite. All right. Well. Well. Yeah, you like it just as it is? This. Looks like smashed peas. Sounds like a dog barking. Not painting with my fingers. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some white paint and black of the good kind. Now I can't touch it because I have to let that dry so I can tape around it. Okay. Now what? Oops. Okay. Acrylics away. Put that there, and that there, and that there, and that there. All right, we're making progress. Now, we're going to do something different. Okay, next up. Yes. I like it. I like this a lot. Let's try it. Yes. Now I get to make a mess with a different medium, with gouache or gouache, or if you're illiterate, gouache or gouache. Okay, this gouache is pretty awesome. It was very inexpensive, much to my surprise. Turns out that Arteza likes to make sets of like earth colors, ocean colors, portrait colors. And they tend to go more like that than they do this. But this was an amazing bargain, I felt. And I just am totally enamored with it. It's a really nice product. This is Arteza Premium. Now, I'm not sure if the Premium is any different. I did not realize they had even different grades when I got this. Matter of fact, I don't know if I got this. This may have been a gift, and I can't remember. I can't remember. I have gotten some awesome gifts, and so I don't want to seem ungrateful, but for everybody who ever gave me anything, thank you. Because whatever you gave me, I endeavor to use completely. Now, the fun part of this is it's watercolor. It's more of an opaque watercolor, but it's a watercolor, which means it's going to stain the paper very heavily. In this case, of course, that is what I'm looking for. $19.99. I don't know. That sounds like my kind of price range. I usually have limits of about $20 to spend a month on just fun stuff. So that could be anything from having my dinner delivered to getting some pens or inks or paint. So, you know. I love this paper. This is a really nice heavyweight paper. It is one of those things. It's like falls right in the right range of affordability and the perfect paper. It is a cold press, meaning it's got a bunch of texture. It's 300 pound, meaning it is very thick, and there's really only so many pieces of paper here. And I think this came out to $2.35 per piece of paper. So, yes, this cost way more than the paint. I have ideas. Now, this is called Peach Red. I don't know why this is called peach red, because as you're going to see in just a second, nothing about it says peach. What it will say is something more like, holy shit, that's neon color, isn't it? Oh yes, and I forgot, I can't open these with my bare hands anymore. So hold on, I have to go get pliers. Now, this is going to be, I'm going to take out a few of these to see. I don't know how they come up with some of these color names, but this is dangerous because I risk twisting this until it cracks, which is not what we want. Some of these might end up getting opened on the back end and squeezed out the hard way. But, yeah. Let's see if this one will open. That one didn't. This is called Rose. I really wanted that crazy pink in there. Now let's see how this light apricot is. A lot of zinc in that. All right. Get busted. Nope, that's not going to happen. Well, we'll let that sit in some water. Let's see if that will dissolve anything for me. Meantime, let's get some dilute. I don't think these are really compatible, which is actually a good thing because it might help me get more of a chemical reaction on this paper, which would be really cool. Because that's what I'm really going for here. Oh yeah, there it goes. I start getting the, I don't really want to mix with you, but I'll slide around you and under you. Now I don't want you going all the way off. we go. There we go. Okay. Just going back and forth until everything is stained. Yeah. All right. Of course, Agnes, that's how it always does. But the locks will be changed and you don't have to worry about those assholes coming back. And if she is still calling herself a Republican at this late date, she is a cult member. Real Republicans don't want to be associated with the current state of the party. So you're not really seeing very many real Republicans anymore. You're seeing habitual Republicans and cult members. So, yeah, of course she's trying to manipulate everybody. Stay away from her. But as long as you're thinking about her, you're attracting her. You've got to stop thinking about her. If she's the only thorn in your side right now, with everybody else you're surrounded with, life's pretty fucking good. So don't keep calling her into your head. When she comes up, come up with somebody else, someone nicer. Deliberately think about someone you'd rather see when you bump into someone. I'd rather bump into her. And start thinking about the other person, and that's who you'll see. You've got to remember you're in charge of your own reality, which people don't really want to be in charge of their own reality when it comes down to it. When they realize how powerful they are happy about it. But until they realize that power, they just feel like they're victims of themselves. So you got to understand your power, why it's important you recognize it and use it. Because otherwise your energy is just floating around and anybody can use it for their shit instead of yours. So you don't leave your life up to someone else. You don't leave, well, that's to someone else. That's a way to be a victim. I don't know about you, but I have no intention of being anybody's victim. It's bad enough that I fuck myself up by accident. So, yeah, be aware of what you're creating at all times. There we go. The more people focus on the things that they love and want to be around, the less they're attracting the things that are annoying them. Every time you turn your attention to something that pisses you off or gets under your skin, you have to acknowledge you're doing that to yourself. Your mind wandered. Bring it back. Thinking of Buzz Bunny is better than thinking of her, isn't it? Catch a buzz. Walk away. Close around your consciousness. If instead you think of what you want to bump into, you'll see more of that. The more you focus on the stuff you love, the more you will see the stuff you love. It is that simple. That's why people have such a hard time with that. Paper's got to be wet to do this, or it will not travel. Oh. There we go. Oh. Now my nose is running. It's running away with the painting. Ah. Ah, stay. There is that damn stupid thread again. I hate when lint gets stuck to my watercolors. Man, it looks like that's going to become part of my painting now. You can't see it, but I can. All right, here we've got a chemical reaction happening. So, let's give it a little more. The waves of water. Don't go where I said no. Only go where I said yay. Yes, this is a background. Oh wait, that's the red. Ah! I will play my video until the cows come home. If that's what you are inspired to do, then that is what you do. But what time do the cows come home? Today it is Saturday, and tomorrow is Sunday. Today is, oh, you are such a little twit. Yes. Okay, you want to see some chemical reactions? Check this color out. That is what they're calling, no lie, peach red. Peach red. Now, I can see where they might come up with a red here somewhere, but peach, I don't see it. Now, I know it's a neon color. Neons are fugitive because it's really just pink with a brightener in it, and the brighteners do fade. And this is a mess. But chemically speaking, it's kind of the foreigner among the rest of these paints, which will demonstrate. It might be too late to get this one involved, but we can give it a little shot. Okay. Right. What's one sheet of paper? Whoops. Come here. Oh. Ideas. I've acquired food of the pizza variety. It looks peach from that side. Seriously, it looks like peach? This color? I see this is peach. That peach red Hawaiian pizza. I love Hawaiian pizza if it's made with pepperoni and pineapple. I don't like ham on my pizza. I do love pineapple on my pizza. It's a nice contrast. Spicy, sweet, savory, you know, I like it all. All right, let's see what this does chemically. It's going to screw it up. Whoops. All right. Let's see. You can certainly see it. Okay, there it goes. That is the most unreal color. Because this changes what I'm going to put in front of it, because as soon as you introduce an unreal color, I don't know, the flowers are just not going to work. I was going to put some big blossoms here, but now it looks like the difference between serious artist clay and Play-Doh. Wow. Watching paint run instead of paint dry. Charlie, what got you on American telephone systems? What were you inspired by? You should look up Lily Tomlin as an operator if you want to see some really funny bits. Ernestine. Hey, stay there. Oh, that is strange. So we have raspberry, we have neon glowing pink, we got our apricot in there. And the apricot and raspberry had their highlights, but this is too weird. So what are we going to do here? We're going to throw some titanium in there. Now that is really moving that stuff out. Oop. Oops. Oh, I love chemical reactions. This is fun just to see what this is going to do. It's not what I planned. We can, I'll tell you that. Just came across the paper. Oh, I see. Keep moving. Oh, no, not you. Eek. This is just so bright. It doesn't feel right unless like it's grooving around the rest of it. So psychedelic. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Good. I think now there's only one thing I can do on top of this, and that's black. I have to have a really strong contrast for really stupid color choices. Some say daring, some say dumb. I'm going dumb and daring. Perfect. Because you can't see that, so you don't know it's perfect. All right. Chips of paint. Well, that's good and wet. Layers over layers over layers. We will let this dry so it goes flat again. Have you ever heard Sly and the Family Stone, Que Sera Sera? I never heard them do it, no. I know the song. I sang that at my mother's funeral. By Sly and the Family Stone, huh? I never would have imagined that they did it. Is it good? It's hard to imagine them doing Doris Day. Yeah, cool. No, never would have guessed. Of course, now I'm going to have to go hear it. But for now, I must put this down. Although I don't like that right there. We're going to have to do something with that. We're going to have to throw more raspberry in, I think. I'm calling it raspberry, but it's not the actual color. There we go. There was a little too much of the apricot, the titanium dioxide in it. Covered it too much. All right. Now it's going to do a little of its own spreading around. So let's do that. Okay. If I go and click that, I have to leave my show. So, thank you. Anybody else? You are free to go ahead and check that out. This looks better on camera than it does in front of me. And definitely the colors look different on camera than they appear in front of me. It does not look near as electric as it really is. It does look more orange on camera. That is bizarre. This is the hottest pink I have anywhere in this house. I mean, pink, neon pink. And that's not what it looks like on camera. That's so weird. Not at all the same. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to go get rid of this before I'm tempted to put any more on that piece of paper. We must let it dry. Looks like I must do the dishes very soon. My artsiness is piling up here. getting brighter. How sad. It's clearing. The rain is going away. Ah, I wanted more. But we cannot always get what we want. But if we try sometimes, we get what we need. To quote a famous writer who sang a song. Okay, my friends. Don't you think it's resonation time? Actually, it's probably getting close to something. Hold on a second. Where is Mr. Rich? What's up? Okay, now I think it's time for a break. Oh, if I go off the air, I will be gone for the rest of the night. All right. It is time for a brief break. Let's break. Crack. Okay, let's see where we're at. Well, we have slopped around a lot of paint today, I'm glad to say. Oh. Now, when these dry, these colors get so dull, but they look awesome when they have the clear glaze on them. But we're a ways away from glazing anything. This is actually waiting for another coat, but we have 2 spots here. I see they're still wet. We can do it. Can't work on wet in this case. Now this also is wet, but we did get this first layer done today. Actually it's a second layer, but we're calling it the second first because it's the first time we can actually see the color. First greens that went down just dried and disappeared into the black. But what comes next actually is we're putting down some tape lines to get centered around here, which will be the center of the painting, literally and figuratively. And this rainy day. I feel more drippy on rainy days. Now, this is acrylic. It is not watercolors like this. gouache, watercolor, blah, blah, blah. Now here we see the silver really stands out. Now I can tell this is still kind of dampish because it wet the water went through a bit through the canvas. Poorly gessoed, just one coat. Most people will put a second coat on or the third coat. I'm not too concerned since this is going to have more coats of stuff on it, which will preserve it and all. It'll look much nicer when it's shinier, but it's not ready to be shinied up yet. Nay. Because we're coming back in here with black. One of my favorites. I can't really get that full contrast going unless I use something like, well, I think black's my best bet because of my choice of an aqua or a turquoise blue. Let's see what we've got here. The turquoise is what I used, and there isn't a whole lot I can use that really goes with it, other than making this black. So we're just going to go with black. But this time, I am going to use let's see, good, hey, can we please, okay. What I'm going to do with this tomorrow is black India ink and mixing it with the gloss medium varnish. And we're going to outline our trees here a bit and give them a bit more definition. And then when that is dry, the whole thing will be cleared and it'll be nice and shiny again, which will be interesting with all of these silver dots. This we're going to come back with black also because I like this strong contrast, and because I used this crazy color in here, it changed what I was planning on doing with this, which was going to be flowers on a watery background, and now it's like we're going to be doing doodly stuff on a watery background. I'm going to leave the gouache out for that because I may want to throw some other craziness in it just for the hell of it. Although I think that's pretty crazy as it is. So this is a good case for get out the blow dryer. Don't ruin your hair with it, but you can dry your paper. And so we have been on for 2 hours and 44 minutes, and that's the longest I've been able to sit out here since life went really weird earlier last month. But now we are in April. Today is the 1st of April. Tomorrow is Sunday on Twitch at 10:30. So I hope you'll join me there tomorrow. I'm going to address... Oh, okay. Rich is giving himself some big challenges in pilot simulation. He's creating a often fatal happening to see if he can recover from it. He likes challenges, this man. So, our strange watery painting. 2 different blues, a gray and a silver. That's all that we have in there at this point. So let's see. Yeah, that's about it for the moment. I think we got some stuff started today, right? Yeah, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 things started. That's not bad. Tomorrow. Right, Charlie? Yeah, he likes that. When it comes to attention to detail, he's your man. So, yeah, whether it's making an NFT or making a song. Where are you guys? It's recovering my chat. Hold on. We did do 1 or more things. Yeah. Come on, chat. Come back. Come back, live chat. Well, 1 or more is all you need to do in a day. 1 or more things. Wow, it is so delayed. I'm looking at real-time screen there, and I look over at the YouTube stream, and it still has the other painting on the table. It needs to catch up with it. Now it's still behind. It's got this one central. How weird. So what are you looking at? Are you seeing me in real time? I looked up and I wasn't even on the screen while I was talking to you. That's so strange. I don't know what to say other than goodbye. Now, just so long, I am going to address dishes in my sink and what do I want to eat for dinner tonight. And that's it. And walk around the house a little bit because my butt is gonna go to sleep if I just sit here. I need to keep the blood circulating. So you all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for being here with me. And I would like to see this catch up here. I must address those dishes. I will send them to you to wash. Actually, there's just a few dishes, and it will only take a couple of minutes, but I have to have a clean sink if I'm going to cook anything. Then yes, the blood must circulate. If it doesn't circulate, it clumps. We don't want clumpy blood. We want smooth, clear blood. All right, darlings, I see you tomorrow morning on Twitch at 10:30. Thanks for hanging with me. Bye. Aloha.